all of my fashion magazines over there. There's definitely a time where I just stopped buying them because it was like I'd gotten too close, you know? Fashion Week is this very adult world, and I was coming at it with this childlike perspective. Everything just seemed so magical. So I couldn't be like a total fangirl anymore. My dad's an English teacher. My mom weaves tapestries. She's an artist. They always encouraged me and my sisters to be creative and to read. I did reading Olympics in the 5th grade. It was a really good decision. When I was little, I acted in a lot of plays, like at kids' theater here, and I really liked musical theater, and I think that the idea of being a character was really exciting to me, and then later that came back, but in the form of getting dressed. Most girls, like, their self-esteem just, like, drops kind of permanently, and so I do think it was really lucky that that's around the same time I started, you know, seeing fashion as something that could be really fun and expressive, and that it didn't have to be about being pretty or anything. My friend's sister had a fashion blog, and so that's how I found out that this community existed, and I thought it was really cool. Aesthetically cataloging things the way that I do with my room and my little books and my blog. For some reason, I've just always felt very inclined to, I mean, that's how I organize the world. And so having a blog seemed like the most convenient way to do that. Everything in this room means something to me and has just so many different associations aesthetically. I think that people admire people who look weird, who dress interestingly or whatever, because they wish they could be that courageous. People would always say, like, I love your outfit, I could never wear it, which kind of sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I think a lot of the time people just meant, like, I really admire that you have the courage to wear that. In middle school, it was hard to dress weird, but I kind of relished in it. I recorded all people's, like, weird insults. Like, if someone at school was really, like, mean about it, or they just really didn't get it, then the next day I would just wear something weirder just to piss them off, which, you know, was kind of childish, but it was just fun. I feel like if you know you're going to be in an awkward situation, like at a weird party or something, it's good to wear something interesting that people ask about, and then it gets you somewhere interesting. This sweater is by Medem Kirchhoff, and it's this witch in a heart that is in the album art for Live Through This, which is my favorite whole album. So this sweater is definitely one of my, like what we were talking about, those things you want to wear over and over again. I got it on Etsy. It's kind of the perfect vintage piece. The first day I wore it, I was walking to school in it, and this guy I walk past every day with a really long beard, an elderly fellow, gave me a peace sign, and I was like, oh, this jacket just, it has a good spirit to it, I can feel it. This dress, I wore it when one of my best friends and I went to see a psychic. So it has, like, for some reason, like a weird magical vibe to it, and the flowiness makes me think of Stevie Nicks, but I got it from Courtney Love, so it makes me think of all the, you know, kind of deconstructed bride thing, and I don't know. And one of my teachers was just like, there are naked ladies on your collar. And I was like, yes, there are. And he was like, that's all. Okay. And I'm really inspired by what we were saying about nostalgia and all the things you really love when you're a teenager. So whenever I can reference those things in an outfit, I think that's fun. When I started this website, Rookie, for teenage girls, we're still a relatively new site. Like, it's important to me that our tone develops the way that I want it to. Very insistent on making sure that I read our feedback and making it as good as it should be. So, again, I mean, it's stressful, but, like, I would be more stressed if I wasn't worrying about those things. To me, the way that I organize my world through my blog and my outfits in my room and my diaries, it's like, to me, all that energy would be best presented as a movie. A movie I would want to make would be, like, the tone of Freaks and Geeks or something really funny, but, like, aesthetically, something more like Virgin Suicides or whatever, because that doesn't exist, and that's, like, what my life is like, and I want that to exist. LA is my favorite place in the world. It satisfies all or most of my aesthetic interests, because there's a side of it that's, like, canyons and Joni Mitchell, but then there's also the really tacky side that I just love, and just the old hotel signs and churches and that giant crazy Mormon building. I think a lot of people feel kind of alienated by this idea they have of feminism because they feel like it, you know, it means you can never be insecure, or like you're bad at it if you have bad days where you don't feel great. I wrote a post that was like, I don't know what's happened, you guys, but I think I kind of want to be pretty now. I want to be pretty, but did I really want it for myself, or was it because I knew that then other people would, like, bother me less? It was like, does this mean I'm a sellout or anything? And of course, no, and of course other fashion bloggers who consider themselves feminists and who aren't dressing for men commented and were like, you know, you can totally, you know, be both things. You're a person, you're multifaceted. But yeah, of course it was easy for me at age 12 to, like, write about this and be like, don't care what people think, because then, like, I started going to high school. I mean, that's why I wrote that blog post about sitting next to Anna Wintour and how just bizarre it was, and looking around at all these people who looked so miserable. I feel bad for the designer, too. You work on this thing for half a year and you put it out there and you're hoping people like it. That's why something like a Rodarte show is so special, because people let their guard down and they just let themselves enjoy it. It's not that I'm ungrateful for my success or anything at all, but I just think you have to stay realistic about it. I'm not going to go to a show like that where everyone's acting all snobby and pretend that it's glamorous. Like, it's kind of pathetic. It's so high school, you know? I mean, every time that I've written a post like the one about prettiness and the one I wrote about Fashion Week's weirdness, every time that I've done that, I've hesitated a bit before posting it, and then I do it, and then it feels really good. People respond to it. It starts an interesting conversation. It gives me things to think about. So I've never regretted anything like that. Having this attitude now that I have developed about, you know, why I like certain things, because it makes me think of nostalgia, or the nostalgia of someone like a Virgin Suicide's character. It makes it easier to just like everything. You know, I'm really glad that I come home from Fashion Week to this room to just, you know, keep dreaming about things.